Welcome to today's tutorial, and today we'll be learning how to do a floor plan in the DA development application stage. And when you'll get a CAD file emailed to you and you can open it up. And when you open it up, there'll be a concept already there, which will be a model of a house. So the model of the house will already be completed, and you'll just need to put in the minimum requirements at the development application stage, which would be names for the rooms, and we'll put dimensions on the floor plan showing sizes of rooms. We'll also put these elevation markers because we'll also be doing elevations, and so we just need to show those reference points. And that's about it. That's all we're gonna do for the development application stage. These little notes here. This is the window door schedule notes, and we don't need that as part of the DA plans. So just ignore those. Now, this is a previous project completed, but we're going to be doing some training, and so that in the future you can do development application plans. As you can see, here are notes for bedrooms, and I've got these notes on size 2.5, Arial narrow is the font type. And I've got these on the notes room labels layer. And each room name, I've got it black and bold. And I'll suspend this group for a second. So once you put all the names in of the rooms, you can highlight them all and press Control G. And that groups them all together so that you can click on one name and they're all highlighted if you need to like move or drag a copy quickly. And if you want to adjust one, you press suspend groups down here in the bottom left, and you can just edit one text. So continuing on now to the dimensions. If you can see over here under document on the left, dimension tool. If you click on the dimension tool and come up to layer straight away, and if you go to dim is short for dimension. Dim proposed floor plan. Click on that. Now that layer is set. If you look at the size here, I like the size to be 1.8. And the font type is Arial narrow. It's black. There's no italic, so unclick that. And there's no bold. Now we've got the text, the dimension string settings set up. We can start dimensioning. And so you can zoom in and you can hover the arrow around the corner of the building and you'll see a black tick, which means you've hit the right spot. And you can go to the other corner and click once, and then you double click and you can place that dimension string somewhere out here. If you have that centered between the 2 points, it'll have a straight dimension string. If you have it on one side, up or low, it changes the angle of the dimension string, and you don't want that for this particular building because it's straight. So if you hover in the middle, it'll be straight. And then you can click once, and that's your dimension string, and then press escape so that you've got that arrow back again. And you can click on that dimension string. And if you press Control D and then click, and if you move around, you can see that it's been pitched off the corners. So that's correct, because sometimes you might want to check it's been pitched off the right point, because sometimes you might accidentally pitch it off the wrong point and you need to correct that. So that's why it's good to click on it, click again, and sort of drag it around to check it's all correct. Now, once you've got that overall dimension string in there, then you can press Control-Shift-D and drag a copy. And what we're going to do then is we'll drag a copy and we'll hold the Shift key in to make it straight, and we'll press R and we'll press 600, enter. That's your next dimension string. And this next dimension string is going to be dimensioning all the outside runs of the house. So wherever it changes, that's where you're going to put a dimension, wherever it changes in orientation and angle. So we're going to click once here. So once you've highlighted that dimension string, if you press the control button and zoom in to the point, hover over the arrow over the corner, see the black tick, you know it's hitting the right point, so you can click. So hold control and click once, and that adds a dimension string. Now you keep this highlighted and you continue clicking on any other points. So at the moment, that's all we need to do for this one, because you've got one long run there, and the other run is from there to there. So that's been dimensioned now. And you can highlight the other one, press Control D. You can move it back just to give you some space for now to put some more dimension strings in there. So what I like to do now is click on that overall and press Control Shift D. And I like to put a number of dimension strings. So we can click once here because that's going to get this wall and this wall. And then I'm going to press Control Shift D, hold Shift in. I'm going to bring another dimension string here, which is going to get this wall and this wall and this wall. Then I'm going to press Control Shift D, hold Shift in, and I'm going to click here. And that's going to get these differences. And I just continue dragging a copy wherever the walls change so that I can make sure I'm dimensioning all the different parts of the building. And I'm only going to go halfway down the building this way. And then all those dimension strings are going to be on this side, dimensioning halfway of the building. So Control Shift D. And I think that should be enough for now. So press Escape. You can click now on this dimension string, hold the control button in and click this side of the wall. So now we've dimensioned that wall thickness. Click this wall, that's 240 as well. And we don't need this one coming out here because it's already dimensioned there. So we can hold Control and click on that. And then we can move on to the next one. So click on that one now, do the same thing, Control, click, 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 Control, click, and then click on the next one. Hold Control, click, 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 click. Now, when you're clicking, you don't have to be exactly on one side of the wall or not. As you will see when you're clicking, it'll know what you're trying to dimension. It's the wall thickness, so it'll automatically do it for you once you click. So click on this one now, click. And if there's no spot to click here near the door, you can click here or you can click here, it doesn't matter. And it'll pick it up. Even when there's a sliding door here, you can just hold Control and click, and it's going to be intuitive enough to know that you're trying to dimension the wall. And click. And this one we don't need, so we're going to press Control and click on that and take it off. Now click on this one, click, take this one off, you're going to click there. Click on the door, click the wall, click the door, click this wall, and this wall. Now that'll be enough for now. So for this side. So now while that's highlighted, I'll keep it highlighted and I'll press on the Shift key. And then I'm gonna, while I'm holding Shift in, click on the other dimension strings. So it highlights multiple dimension strings at once. Once they're all highlighted, I can press Control D and click on where there's a black dot there, and I've got the tick showing. It means I'm clicking exactly on the dimension string. It's important to click exactly on the dimension string because if you hold Shift now and drag it over to this dimension string and click, and it's still highlighted, and then press Control D and hold Shift and press R 600. I like to place them 600 mil apart, and if you press the M key, you can always double check that it's 600 apart. That should be 1200. And then hold Shift and unclick that dimension string, and you'll notice the rest is still highlighted. Press Control D and continue the process, clicking on that dimension string, then dragging it off 600, highlighting it and highlight it. and continue the process. Now, if you place a dimension there and then you press Control D and click an R600, it's going to separate it just enough that if you need to put some writing, if you click on here, for example, and you type in entry, for example, you'll notice it takes up a bit of space. And if these dimension strings are closer, that wording will cover the dimension string. So that's why I like to place it 600 mil apart for this text size. And you can notice there's an opaque in there, which hides the line. I don't want that. So I'm going to untick this magnet. I'm going to click this marquee, click once, zoom out, click. So I've highlighted over all of the dimensions. Click the dimension tool, press Control A, and that highlights the dimensions by themselves. Now I've highlighted all the dimensions. I'm going to press Control T to go to the settings, or I can click into the settings here. And I'm going to untick the opaque and press OK. And then I'm going to press Control D and click on there, and I'll drag it to the wall so that I can press Control D and drag it back, hold Shift, press R, and bring it back, say about 2 meters, which is 2000 millimeters, and press Enter. And then zoom out and look, and that looks like a good spot to place the dimensions so that it gives room for my elevation marker. And we're going to do the same thing now with all the other 3 sides of the house, placing them consistently 2 meters off the house and 600 mil apart. So you can press Escape and that'll unhighlight, and then get rid of the marquee and press Escape again, which resets all your settings. Now you've just got the arrow, and you can continue to do the same thing around each side now. So first of all, we'll start again with the overall. I'll start to go quicker now. Click on the corner, click on the corner, click out here, double click, click, press Escape, click on the dimension, Control Shift D, hold Shift, R, 600, zoom in, click on this side of the pier. So now it's showing a 350 pier. Click on this side, and then that's one straight long length, and that's all dimension. Click on the overall again, Control Shift D, drag it down to here. So you're getting all these walls, which we're going to come through and click on later. Press Control Shift D, drag another one down to about here, drag another one, Control Shift D, possibly here, Control Shift D, here, maybe here, here, here. Actually, we're going to highlight these 3 and get rid of them. We only need to do half of the house because the dimensions on this side will cover this half. So if you zoom in now, click on the dimension. So it's highlighted, press Control and start clicking on the walls now. And this one we'll keep that dimension on there to show. Actually, we'll get rid of that, press Control and delete that, because that slab could be any could go out further. So now I'll click on this dimension string, press Control and click on the walls. And zoom in if you need to. Click. So click here, then I'll get rid of this one. Get rid of that one. So sometimes it might only do a dimension on one side of the wall, and if it does that, make sure you pay attention to it so that you can click on the other side. Get rid of that. This will come all the way through to this front entry wall, and then we'll keep that porch dimension on there. Now highlight the other ones, press Control D, click on the black dot bring it over to the dimension, press Control D, press R, 600, hold Shift, click on that dimension string. Now zoom in, press Control D, do the same with this one, Control D, 600, unhighlight it, drag it over, click, Control D, hold Shift, press R, 600, hold Shift, unhighlight by clicking, Control D, click, click R, 600, and click, hold Shift and click it, and it's all unhighlighted. Now, if you just click the arrow, the mouse, and hover over the dimensions, that will also highlight it all. It's a little bit quicker. Then press Control D, click and bring the dimensions to the wall. Then press R, Shift, 2000. Now that's consistently set back 2 meters, just like this one, and you've got enough space for that marker to sit. That marker is sitting about 1 meter or 1.5 meters off the house. You want to locate the markers in between the dimension string and the wall, and try not to have the marker sitting over the top of any text or the line of the roof. So I like to give it some space so it can fit. Now all the dimensions are done for that side. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you can press Alt, and then it shows a little wand. That's because I've pressed Alt. Whatever I press on, it's going to give me those settings. So if I click on that dimension, now I've got the settings. Otherwise, I can just go back over and press dimension string. That's the 2 different ways you can do it. If you zoom in, click there, zoom in. So the overall width is here. Click there, and then I'm going to double click back here, click again, press Escape, hold Shift, Control Shift D, drag a copy, hold Shift, R, 600, zoom in, click that pier, click the corner there, Escape, click, Control Shift D, drag a copy to there, and click, drag a copy to here, drag a copy to here, drag a copy to here, here, and that's about halfway. Now, if we click back on this one, now I've highlighted, I'll press Control, click on the wall, click here to get rid of that one. And what I will do also is for this one here, I've just spotted it. If I press Control D, it's pitched off there, but I've missed this one. So if I zoom in and press Control and click on that corner, it's added it in now. So Escape, and now I'll go back to this one. Click on it, press Control, click on the wall, and press Control and click on that to get rid of that one. Then press Escape, zoom in and highlight this one, press Control, click on the wall, click on the door, click on the wall, zoom in if you need to, click on the wall, and click on the wall. Press Control and delete that one. Now this one, click, Control, click that, zoom in, click on that wall, and that wall. Now click on this one, Control, click, Control, click, Control, click, Control, click, and Control, click. Now that they're all done, I will highlight by holding Shift and clicking on all of the dimensions, and press Control D, click on this closest one, bring that here in the same line, and I'm making sure it's highlighted, because for some reason, if I unhighlight this, now that's overlapping. And what I can do to fix that is to press Control Z or press the undo button. And then you can press redo. And now it's all highlighted again. And you can press Control D and drag it off, R600. Hold Shift and click, Control D. Once it hits there again, Control D, Shift, R600. and keep doing the same. So you don't have to click on it. You can just also hold shift and highlight over it. Sometimes it's quicker. And every time you drag this, make sure you hold shift so it does it in a straight line and not off on an angle, because it won't get the exact 600 mil apart. And I want these to all be consistently exactly 600 apart, 600, 12, 18, 24, etc. So I know they're consistent. Now I can click the mouse and hover over all of the dimensions. Now that they're highlighted, I can push the ball of the mouse in to move left and right, down and up, and I can zoom in. And then I'll press Control D, click on that black dot, put it on the wall. If it doesn't work, try it again. For some reason, I was clicking on something else and it's moved something over here. So press Control Z. Now be careful when you're clicking that you're not clicking on the wrong thing. So I want to unhighlight this particular thing while keeping these highlighted. So I'm going to press Shift and click on that. Now that's moved. I'm going to try again. Control D, click. That worked this time. Control D, click, hold Shift, press R, 2000, type in, and then press Enter. Now that's 2000 off. Now you can see on this particular one that that dimension string is sitting over the top. So I'm going to click on the dimension string and I'm going to press Control D and I'm going to bring that over. Press R, Shift, and type in 1000, Enter. Now that's been fixed. And I can continue the process for this side. This will be the start of the house and this will be the overall. Double click. I'm going to show you how quick it can be now. I won't talk as much, I'll just work. So if you accidentally click on something, like I just clicked on the roof instead of the dimension string, all you got to do is click it again. Sorry, just press Escape. So for this one here, you're just going to do that portion and then you're going to delete that one. Then you're going to highlight all of these dimension strings now. Same as usually, how we did the other ones. Control D, bring them over and then offset them all 600 mil apart. If you ever make a mistake, you can press undo by pressing Control Z or the undo button up here, and then press redo if you need to. Then I'm going to highlight all of them, make sure it's 2 meters off the house. So for this particular one, because the house juts out like that, the marker can be in a bit closer. So you don't really need to make it 2 meters offset from the garage here. You can probably make it 1 meter. So bring it all in a meter. And if that dimension string is overlapping some text, you can just bring that in, you know, another 250 mil or so. Now all of the dimension strings are in. And as you can see, this elevation has been moved. So if I click on that, I can press Control D. If I bring it in and click on the house, and then I'm going to press Control D, 1000, Enter. So now all of the markers are consistently between the house and the dimensions. They're not overlapping the dimensions. I've got an overall dimension, 18. You can zoom in and check they're the same, 11.8, 11.8, 22,640, 22,640. So you know they're all right. Now the next stage of what I do is I click on the actual text, and then I hold shift and click on the other overalls. And what you can actually do is press Control T. Once you're in here, press enter and type in overall. Make sure it's in caps lock and 1.8 Arial narrow. Press enter. Now that's put overall in for the whole 4. So it's a reference to know the overall lengths. And then what I like to do is individually I'll go through on each dimension string and I type in the name. So it makes it easier when you're looking at the floor plan, you know what dimension that's for. It just makes it quicker so you don't have to use a ruler and check what room it's for. So this one is bed 1. So click on the text, press Control T, or click on this button, and then press enter and type in caps locks bed 1, and then press enter. And the next one, and if you need to click on it and move it so you know where it is, just if you need to check what dimension it's for, and then press Control T, bed 1 again, and work your way down. This one's going to be the entry, so click on that, type in entry. This one's a garage. And if there's a dimension that doubles up, you don't have to put garage in there again, just leave it as 6 meters. Or what I like to do is try to minimize over multiple dimensions of a room. So this one, I'm just going to highlight it and press Control and click on it so that we get rid of the additional dimensions, which we don't need for that part of the garage. Okay, so this will become the hall now. See how it comes in? That's the hallway. So hall. Now this is the walk-in robe. So Control T, WIR. And then we've got the ensuite. So if you click and drag it over, you can see how it's coming there and showing where that room is. So that one is actually the ensuite. ENS stands for ensuite. You can just put ENS if you like as well. People know what ENS means. Click and just check a reference point. Okay, so this one now is getting the bathroom and getting that length there of the hallway. So if I click on that and press Control T, enter, bath, okay, escape, click, Control T, enter, all, okay. Click, that's for the linen cupboard. Control T, L, I just type in L for that because I can't fit linen there. So that's enough, okay. And click here, and then that's coming through there in the laundry. So Control T, enter, L, then I'll put that, oops, it's not even showing up at the moment. So enter, L, then next to the enter key is a little symbol there. I forget what the symbol's called, but that symbol denotes that you're shortening the full name to a shorter name. So I just put L, that symbol, then DRY for laundry. Okay. And last one, Control T, bed 3. L for linen again. Sorry, that one's R for robe. R, okay. As you can see, sometimes it makes a dimension go up. Then if you see that, click on it and hold shift and drag it down just to sit about there. And then it brings the other 2 up. And so then you got to click that and press Control T and click the little black dot in the middle, hold shift and bring it down to the dimension point, to the line, and do the same thing over here. Control T, bring it back down to the top and click. And then it moves these around and allows you to fit them in. So it's all about making things readable and consistent and to look good. Control T, this one is linen. You can see you've got the robe and then the linen, and then you've got the hallway from there to there, which is 1600 from here to the back of that wall of the shelf. So click, enter, hall, okay. And then you've got 1 meter from here to here. So that is bed 2. And then you've got the bath again. I don't need a double up of that dimension. So if I click that and press control, and I can get rid of that. So it just shows that dimension there. And then you just do the same thing around all sides, noting all the names of the bedrooms and getting rid of double up dimensions, which we don't need. So for example, you can see the garage here has been dimensioned 3 times for 6.6. We don't need those 3 there, so you can get rid of 2 of them by Control T, click and click. And this particular one is the linen, and we can keep that dimension in there just to confirm that that wall is actually lined up with this wall. So do the same through for the rest, putting the names in for on the dimension string. And then that's your floor plan done. You've done the dimensions, you've put in all the room names, centered them in the room. And you don't need to worry about window dimensions at this point. So that's the floor plan. I'm going to send this over to you now, Ellie, and you'll just have the model. You won't have any of the room names there. And I'll send you over a sketch as well. And you just look at the sketch and type in the room names and then put all the dimensions in. And then we'll work on the elevations. That's all for today's tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.